seem to easily absorb knowledge, while others face difficulties even to master a single skill? There is a secret behind genius, and, most importantly, can you become one of these people? Leonardo da Vinci, Benjamin Franklin, Marie Curie. What's in common among these names? They were not limited to a single area. They dominated several, creating advances that transformed the world. They were polymaths. But what about today? Is there still room for this kind of versatile mind in a society that labeled us from children? From an early age, we hear questions such as, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" As if we had to choose a single way, a fixed destination. But what if the answer wasn't so simple? We live in the information age, where any knowledge is a click away. It has never been easy to become a polymath, but at the same time it has never been so difficult to maintain the focus and discipline necessary to really master any skill. The truth is that learning is not an innate gift, but a system. If you know how to use it to your advantage, you can become an expert in any area. In today's video, we will explore what really takes to become a modern polymath. Mastering anything in life does not start with the technique or the perfect method, but with the right mindset. The way you see learning defines whether you will become a master or abandon the way. If you believe that intelligence and talent are fixed, that some people are simply born with skills while others not, then it has started at a disadvantage. Polymaths are not geniuses by nature, but individuals who have adopted a growth mindset and understood that skills are not granted but built. This leads us to one of the most important principles of the polymath mindset: insatiable curiosity. The great minds of history did not expect to be instructed about what to learn. They explored, questioned, and followed their intuitions to unravel the mysteries of the world. Leonardo da Vinci, for example, was fascinated by understanding how things worked. His notebooks were full of annotations on anatomy, engineering, art, and astronomy. For him, there were no barriers between disciplines, only possibilities. But curiosity alone is not enough. To really learn something, it is necessary to develop an essential concept: intellectual humility. This means recognizing that you no longer know everything, that there is always more to learn, and that feeling ignorant is not a failure, but an invitation to grow. This leads us to a well-known psychological phenomenon: the Dunning-Kruger effect. The less a person knows, the more he tends to oversee his own knowledge. Already the real masters understand the immensity of knowledge, and therefore never stop learning. Another essential point is to understand that failure is not the opposite of success, but a fundamental part of the way. If you want to master something, you need to accept that making mistakes is part of the process. Thomas Edison, before inventing the lamp, failed thousands of times. When asked about it, he replied, "I didn't fail. I just discovered 10,000 ways that don't work." This is the Polymation mindset. Each error is a step further, not a setback. Finally, beyond the mind, there is an even more basic factor that can define your success or failure when learning: your body and your routine. It seems obvious, but many people ignore it. If you sleep badly, feed badly, and live distracted, how do you expect your brain to work in high performance? Learning requires mental energy and concentration, which come from habits, simple as good diet, quality sleep, and physical exercise. The Roman philosopher Juvenal already said, "Mens sana in corpore sano." A healthy mind can only exist in a healthy body. It is no use seeking knowledge if your physiological basis is weakened. Also, there is a limiting belief that prevents many from becoming polymaths: "I don't have time." Time is the same for everyone. What differentiates a polymath from those who get stuck in mediocrity is the priority that gives learning. The secret is not in finding free time, but in integrating learning with routine. Even with a full day, You can learn by listening to podcasts in traffic, reading 10 minutes before bed, or exchanging social networks for something useful. Time exists. Just use it intelligently. Having the mindset of a polymath is to see learning as a continuous process where to make mistakes is part of the way. The only difference between a genius and the others is in discipline and dedication. Now that you understand the mindset needed to master any area, you need to talk about the system that separates the quick and effective learners from those who spend years trying and failing. The key is in strategy and consistency. This is not talent or gift, but how you structure your learning, and especially how this knowledge applies. First, abandon the idea that learning is just absorbing information. Knowing is not the same as understanding, and understanding is not the same as applying. Most make the mistake of staying on the surface, consuming content without actually assimilating or using it. You can watch 100 guitar videos, but without practicing, it will never evolve. This leads us to the first essential principle of an effective learning system: active learning. Instead of consuming information passively, it turns it into action. If you are learning a new language, it is not enough just to attend classes. It is essential to practice: writing, talking, making mistakes, and correcting. The same goes for programming. You need to codify and test. The key is practical immersion. This is the difference between those who read about swimming and who really dives. Another common mistake is to trust only in memory. Our brain forgets most of what we have learned in a few days. The curve of oblivion, studied by psychologist Hermann Ebbinghaus, reveals that without review, we lost about 70% of the information in 24 hours. How to avoid this? Using one of the most effective techniques, the spaced review. Instead of reviewing everything at once, distribute revisions over time. This strengthens retention and transforms knowledge into something lasting. Another extremely powerful method is active memory. Instead of rereading the same material repeatedly, try to remember the information without seeing it. Ask yourself questions, write memory summaries, explain the content to someone else. The act of recovering brain information strengthens memory and enhances understanding. But even with these techniques, a factor can compromise any learning: the lack of consistency. Here comes a simple but transformative principle: the 1% better rule every day. Instead of trying to learn everything at once and overwhelm, focus on small daily improvements. In the long run, they generate extraordinary progress. Think about it. If you improve 1% a day in a year, it will be 37 times better than when it started. And how to ensure this consistency? The answer is in the systems, not on goals. Many people fail because they define vacant goals, such as, "I want to learn piano," but they do not create a real method for that. A system would be something like, "I'm going to practice 30 minutes every morning before work." Systems work because they eliminate the dependence on motivation. You simply do, making it part of your routine. A crucial element is time management. The excuse of the lack of time usually reflects only misaligned priorities. If you want to learn something, you should cut distractions and plan your day. Time block is an effective technique. Set fixed times to study and treat them as non-negotiable commitments. Methods such as Pomodoro, 25-minute focus cycles followed by short pauses, maximize productivity and retention. But even with the best system, there is a villain who threatens everything: procrastination. And why do we postpone? Because the beginning seems difficult. The solution